Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit, and I'm going to be really vulnerable and honest and share things that I've kept to myself a lot through my life, but I know there's people that need to hear this and people who relate. Being overweight is a very challenging thing to deal with. There are a lot of challenging things in life, and people have lots of things they struggle with, but today I'm addressing being overweight. Now, I've been overweight most of my life. I've had success a time or two losing weight, but for the most part, it's just been my struggle. I will tell anyone and everyone that asks that I just love food, and food has been my everything. It's been kind of my comfort, my celebration, and just the way to turn to when I'm tired. That was a big one over the last years when I really was struggling, because I've been very blessed to have a great, happy life, but everybody has those hormonal feelings, or for me, extreme exhaustion, and that causes a lot of my times I would turn to food, just to something to make you feel better in the moment. I liked a lot of food, but I struggled the most with sweets. Sweets was really one of my biggest things. Very, very hard to turn down dessert. And if I ever was turning down dessert, I felt superly deprived and sad for myself. So people have different reasons that they struggle with weight. Some people have eaten one way and never gained weight. They had a nice genetic way, and it didn't really affect them. And as they've gotten older, metabolism has started to slow, and all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh, I've never had a weight problem. That may be your case. Some people have always struggled. Some people have had lots of challenges in life, and it's become a way to deal with severe stress, anxiety, trauma. So there's so many reasons that get someone to that point where they're overweight and they need help. For me, I would be kind of an all or nothing person. If I was on a diet or a plan, I was all in until I wasn't. And then as soon as I wasn't, I was all out. And then it was very depressing and just like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. It felt impossible. So I'm sure some of you relate. I also would have trouble, every day I'd be unhappy and want to change it. And I knew change, I just had to change. I just had to do it. But I also knew that I would say, okay, I'm going to start, and then I'd fail. I'd be like, well, I've already blown it. So one of my favorite things I used to say, I fell off the wagon and I ate it. Recently I came up with one I was really proud of. I said, I've fallen off the wagon, I ate the wagon, I got the t-shirt in every size. I thought that was funny. Okay, anyway, so the point is, I know the struggle. I would be so frustrated by myself when I would say, okay, if I'll just start right now, just make some good, healthy changes, I will be so much better by my birthday. I would have lost 10 pounds by my birthday, or I'd give myself some deadline, some date, and then I wouldn't get myself together, and I'd get to that date and be like, man, if I had just started, why didn't I do it? Because instead of being where I would have been, I was actually worse, probably, because I failed, and like I said, I started eating the wagon. So I've been there, I've done that. Also, I've gone through times where I've done super great, and I just didn't lose weight. And that's frustrating. It's not like I'm always just eating everything in the world, but I knew the choices I'm making weren't great, so I have to be honest about that. I wasn't eating obsessive amounts of stuff. I was eating the wrong types of stuff. But I had noticed that seemingly, no matter what I tried, I was struggling. And part of it was that I had not gone to the doctor. After I had my last child, I didn't go to the doctor for quite some time. And I had physical things wrong. I had a thyroid that was out of control. It was so low. I was anemic, severely anemic, and I had a very bad vitamin D deficiency, which most Americans have. So that was a trifecta that my doctor said, I don't even know how you're walking around. I don't even know. And I remember thinking, oh, there's a reason I feel like this. There's a reason I'm exhausted. I thought it was because I was a type A busy mother of 3 who had tried to do everything and anything all the time and didn't sleep. And those were probably factors contributing to it, but I had a real medical issue that needed to be addressed. And that took some time. That took some experimenting with some medicines, and it did start to help. And that's the first time I really started to kind of feel a little bit better and was able to make some better decisions, and was seeing a little bit of a movement on the scale. All right, so if you relate to anything or everything I just said, I'm going to share where I was mentally. I just kept going and going. I wasn't getting on the scale. I wasn't checking, but I knew I was big because my clothes size was the biggest I'd ever been. I felt super hopeless about it, and I felt like I would just never get it together. So much so that I really, even though in my head I didn't think I would do it, but I wanted to in my heart. I just wanted weight loss surgery. I just wanted it so that it would just be done because it felt insurmountable. It felt like the mountain was too high because if I was honest with myself, I needed to lose 135 pounds, and that was overwhelming. If you need to lose that much or more, I'm here to tell you that I get it. If you're like, well, I only need to lose like 40 or 60 or 80, well, then I should be a big encouragement to you. But I remember thinking it just felt impossible. I wish I could just be like so many pounds smaller so it wasn't over 100. There was just something about not only just being at 100 pounds, but being over 100 that I really, really, really wanted to just have an easy, fast fix, because I kept telling myself, if I do, then I'll be good. It's the having to lose it all. Like, I just want to do better and not have to lose it all. But you know what? I had put it all on over a decade. It wasn't going to come off fast. And I knew that if I personally had weight loss surgery, I didn't want the risk, or I was worried about what that told my kids, that mom had to have surgery for it. I didn't want to cause more issues for my children. And I wanted them to see that I could do hard things. I also knew it wouldn't really fix my problem. Because yes, I would probably have lost weight, but it would have cost a lot of money and there was a lot of potential risk. But for me, one of the biggest factors was I needed to know how to get the weight off so that I could keep the weight off. Because if I did the fast fix, the easy fix, I feared it would all come back. I knew that food had that hold over me and it would come back, and I had to figure out how to do it, but it felt hopeless. So when a friend had done OPTAvia and I had seen how hard it was and the things she was eating, I was like, no way. So I did Noom. A friend of mine, we were like, let's do Noom, and it's a good system because it's teaching you moderation. It's teaching you, it's just an app. It has coaches you can take advantage of and some group stuff that you can take advantage of. I've always been a very private sufferer about my weight. When I lost 90 pounds when Caden was little, I did it on my own online, on Weight Watchers online. It was private. I wasn't going to share about it. I didn't want to talk about it. So for me, Noom, I still kept it pretty private. I did it basically with my best friend. And I lost like 25 pounds in my first 4 or 5 months. And then I struggled because I just wasn't doing it. And then the next year, it was COVID year and we were home, and I actually lost another 25 pounds. And I walked a bunch and I got a little healthier, and that 50 pounds was good. But towards the end, I started going, well, I'm going to try intermittent fasting. And this is really before my thyroid problem was discovered, or actually maybe it was already, I was being treated a little, but I think it really messed with my thyroid because I just started gaining weight, and I started gaining weight bad. Like, I gained 18 of my 50 pounds back in, like, it felt like a month, and I'm sure it was. And so I was really discouraged. Well, went to visit with my friend who had done OPTAvia and kept the weight off. She had lost a good bit. And I just started asking her about it because in my head, I'm going back to that like weight loss surgery. I needed a fast fix. I needed to be able to, if you do this, you will lose weight, because I was feeling hopeless. So I really honestly looked at OPTAvia and thought, I will never be able to do this very long. That looks gross. I can't eat that food. I don't want to do it. It's expensive. I had a bad attitude, a real bad attitude. But I did think, I wonder if it would just get me, like, help me lose these 25 pounds. And then I can just make good choices. And that's what I planned. In fact, I told her I want to do it for 6 weeks. And she said, well, because you order a month of food at a time, you really need to do it for 1 month or 2 months. And, you won't have your food in time if you only do 6 weeks and put in your order. So I said, okay, I can do anything for 2 months. So I started in July. I was very skeptical. The first day or two, I thought, yep, this is what I thought, but I also am not a quitter, and I bought all this stuff, so I'm going to do it. By the end of that first week, things were so much better, and I was feeling so good. I had such success on the scale the first week, the second week, the third week, the first month. I was like, wow. Like, I still wasn't in love with the program, but I felt better. I was sleeping better. I was losing weight at a good clip that I wasn't losing. And there I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna do it another month. And then I thought, well, if I just do it and lose like 40 of my pounds, right? Okay. So fast forward, I am now 9 months in. I've been doing the OPTAvia plan for 9 months. I have lost 80 pounds, which I'm so proud of. And that's on top of some of the weight I'd already lost. So overall, I've lost like 114 pounds of my 135. So that leaves me maybe 20, 21 pounds of my 131 that I'm trying to lose. The amazing thing is, at this point, I feel so good and I'm comfortable in my clothes, and they're so much smaller than they were. And weight loss, you know, is going well, but I've also made some off-plan choices a little more frequently because I've kind of gotten closer. But for me, this plan works so well because if you do it, it will work. And I just needed that. I needed something simple, which it's simple. I needed something that would not fail me, and it works. There are still challenges, and so I'm going to do a little bit on the challenges. The challenges are when you love food and you kind of get to a point where, wow, the results are working so well and you're doing so good, that helps you make those good choices. When you start getting closer to your goal, or I imagine when you get to goal, you start thinking, oh, I could just have one cupcake, or it's a special occasion, and those things start to slip in. So if you're making those choices, you're really not on plan, especially for phase 1 of the plan. So it's not saying you can't have anything, but you are going to have to make a really good choice on that and decide if it's worth taking yourself out of fat burn for a few days, or taking a few days to get back into fat burn. But ultimately, the reason I love this plan is it really did save my life. It was the set of tools I needed. It worked at such a nice steady clip. It kept me full. It kept me feeling good. I haven't felt that horrible, miserable, full feeling that I was feeling. I'm sleeping so much better. Like so many things. My mental clarity is stronger. That have been just huge blessings in addition to the 80 pounds that I have taken off my body. But I love that it's simple. Listen, some people think, oh, you have to eat 6 times a day. Yes, but it's so fast and easy, and it is so convenient, especially if you're busy, and goodness knows we're busy. We're always running and going. So I just wanted to share all that and say there's so much more to say. I know this video is already long, but if you've watched this far, if you're struggling, if you related to some of what I said, everything that I said, one thing I've learned is this system definitely works, and it gives you tools and stuff that I can see how I will change how I go forward my whole life so that it doesn't come back on. But for me, it's been knowing that other people struggle. It's been knowing we have people we can talk to about it, and it doesn't have to be a solitary struggle. Most of the world, a large majority of the world, is struggling with weight. Now, I didn't see it because I was so much heavier, and so anyone else who's smaller, I was like, oh, what do they have to complain about? The more I've started sharing my journey and talking to others who've been inspired by my success or are curious about my success, the more I realize that everybody has how they feel about themselves. Somebody else could be really close to my goal weight, and they're super unhappy, just as unhappy as I was at 110 pounds heavier. I mean, that's just their truth. Whereas I was always like, if I looked like her, I'd have no problems in the world, you know? But everyone has their own issues and how it makes them feel. So whether you need to lose 20 pounds or 150 or more, this program is healthy. It is based in science. It's full of nutrients. It is simple. And it comes with a community of people that will support and help you. And I would love to be someone that is in your corner cheering you on, because there are days where the successes are going to carry you through. Your weight loss is going to just make it all worth it. There's going to be days where that old way of thinking and that mindset is just failing you. And that's when you say, Megan, I just need a pep talk, or I'm struggling. I'm about to give in to this temptation. And I can talk through it with you. Is it worth it? Maybe you need to give in. And I would be the kind of person who would occasionally give you that advice. But sometimes I can give you some really concrete tools and tricks that will help you get through that, and then you will be so thankful. So the buddy system works, and I would love to help. I don't think there's anyone who could understand more than me. And I'm going to struggle with this probably my whole life. But for the first time, I feel like I have a toolkit that's going to help me and a support system that's going to help me get through. So the main thing is you just can't give up and you just can't quit. It doesn't mean, like, my weight chart was like this forever when I started OPTAvia. It was just beautiful, straight, diagonal line. And I'm going to be real honest, over the last couple months, it's been a little like this, but it's still going from here to here. So it was super great. It was a little, but it's still trending down. And I know I'm going to get to my goal, and I know I'm going to learn how to maintain that goal. I never could have said that before. So if you're interested in more information, I'm an open book. I've got a lot of videos that you can watch that answer a lot of your questions, but I'd love to chat with you. I'm a no pressure kind of girl, but I love this program, and I love how it's made me feel, and I would love to share that with you. So have a great day. Keep your chin up. I know that you can do this, and I'm here for you. All right, have a great day.